Well, good morning, and good morning for day 6 of South West Coast Bus. And we're starting day 6 here at St Austell. Both the railway station and the bus station are right next to each other, and I thought I'd do it on this north side because isn't that interesting old signal box? Well, I think it's interesting. It's tired and dilapidated, but I thought I'll give it a bit of love with a bit of film time. And it comes with the added bonus of right behind it looks like the Addams family house as well. So what a matchup. I have often wondered whether or not there's a business model for actually turning all these old signal boxes into holiday accommodation. I mean, I know many have been, but there are just so many all around the country, and so many of you people that love trains and stuff. Would you like to stay in that signal box for a few nights? It's handy for the station. So the first thing is to get on a number 25 bus, which goes to Fowey. But as it's got a fairly regular timetable, I'm planning to get off on the way. So let's jump on the 25 and then see where we get off. Well, if you've looked at the map, you can see that it's a short hop to start with down to Charlestown. It's a picturesque old port famous for its period quayside. There's lots of bus and train comings and goings this morning at St Austell, and our number 25 soon pulls on to stand, and I part with another £7 to give me a day's riding on the buses of Cornwall. We're soon on our way, and it's only about a 15-minute ride to Charlestown, so I'd best not get too comfortable as I'm used to much longer rides on South West Coast Bus. We swing under the Great Western Main Line, past a large Asda, and on to the local hospital where we make a circuit of the grounds. After that, it's a very short run to Charlestown. Very short indeed. Didn't realise that was going to be quite such a short bus ride, and I very nearly slept through Charlestown. So yes, we're here in Charlestown, or the bus stop just outside Charlestown now, and we'll walk down and have a look at Charlestown. Luckily the next bus stop wasn't that far from the one I should have got off at, so we're just walking back down the hill now to, well, back where we should have been. Well, just like yesterday, they've put the flags out for us. Aren't we lucky? Must remember, that's the bus stop where I should have got off and where I will be getting on. This is one of the main things people come to Charlestown for, which is the almost unchanged old harbour, where I'm sure some of you will know they shot scenes for Poldark, and hence everything round here is called Poldark. Yeah, so as the sign says, this was a common film location for the popular TV series Poldark, of which I think I've seen about one episode. Well, Charlestown, very beautiful, isn't it? And it's actually very beautiful today because there seems to be very few people here yet, which I'm liking. The port and the town were planned by Charles Rashley during the 1790s. The primary function of the port was initially to transport copper ore, of which around 40,000 tonnes was shipped between 1810 and 1813. Yeah, so up behind those houses there is a very small campsite. My wife and I stayed there for a week a few years ago, and it really is a lovely little gem. It looks out across the sea, and of course you can go for walks along the South West Coast path in both directions. We had a great time. And after a lovely second breakfast, I'm back at the bus stop for the number 25 to continue my ride towards Fowey. And we're off, and first up we pass under the Great Western Main Line one more time on our way to Par. Just outside Parr Station we cross the Newquay branch line and also the Parr Canal, before the road lifts us over the Great Western Main Line yet again, with the station below us. And then we got a bit of a wiggle through Parr before we regain the main road to Fowey. And as I'd hoped, this really is turning into a lovely summer's day here in Cornwall. Upon entering the outskirts of Fowey, everybody starts to get ready to get off. Now, I'm sensing something's going on here, so I think I'll follow suit. Well, I'll admit to winging it a bit there. Every single person got off at that bus stop there, so I thought this must be the easiest walk into town rather than going all the way around on the bus. So here we are, doing a little walk down the hill. It does seem to be the walking route. There's lots of people doing it. So yeah, let's get down and see Fowey. And this walk down the hill is just lovely on a morning like this, so I'm very pleased I jumped off to follow the locals. Just past the pub, and again by the church, I catch the tiniest glimpses of the tower of the Grade 1 listed Place House. Mind you, the church walk along here is lovely too. We must be getting close to the quayside now. If we cut down here, that should do it. And yes, Fowey Town Quay is here, bordered by the old Working Men's Institute, which is now the British Legion. Of course, our plan is to follow the southwest coast path over the water to Polruan, but not before we enjoy this lovely rook sculpture celebrating the local writer Daphne du Maurier. And given that she wrote The Birds, this is one sculpture that is somewhat enhanced by the addition of just a little bit of bird poo. Nice though the quay is, it is actually not the departure point of the Polruan ferry. So we've got a bit of a walk through the town as we make our way to the White House Quay. I'm rushing along a bit because I do need to catch the next ferry because I've got a connecting bus at Polruan. Because of course, South West Coast bus never stops. Well, I suppose it does when we get to Poole, but you know what I mean.
Is that one?
Right, we're here, and it's good to see that the ferry is making its way towards the quayside here at the White House Slipway. So I pay £3 to cross the River Fowey on a journey that will take just 6 minutes. And with both Fowey at the stern and Polruan off the bow, it's looking absolutely marvellous in this August sunshine. I have to say, once again, I'm feeling pretty chuffed that I decided to do this 10-day bus trip. Here we are in Polruan, and it's a much less touristy place than Fowey on the other side of the water. Well, Polruan, it's very nice. Although it's still got an active boatyard, which is a good thing, and also a bad thing if you want to sit on the beach and listen to the sound of machines going all day long, cutting metal and doing all sorts of stuff. Right, now I've only got about 20 minutes before the bus leaves from up there, so it's probably time for a sandwich and a tiny walk round this lovely little fishing harbour. Looks to be remains of the castle there. Mind you, even with the noise from the shipyard, Polruan compared to the busyness of Fowey, I much prefer it. If I wasn't doing this today, I think I could happily chill out here, maybe have a beer at the Lugger Inn. Well, this is a very cute bus stop. I wonder how big our bus is going to be coming down this steep and narrow lane. Right, well that's enough up. Let's do a little bit of a long, because I've got 15 minutes before the bus. I'm guessing it's going to be a Mercedes Sprinter coming down here. And we're close to the coast path again. Hooray!
Is there anything for me to do?
This really is a lovely place. It's another South West Coast bus find for a future trip. Here comes the Sprinter, and this might be fun, but I'm sure the driver and the locals are well versed with how this will all transpire. There's a lot of chat in the bus queue, and it's evident that apart from tourists, this bus is also a lifeline for the less able people that live just at the top of this steep hill. And soon everybody knows everybody's name, and our merry band eventually heads on up. And with just 5 buses a day, it was key to my timetable that I made this midday departure. Now we've dropped off the locals, we can head out properly for Polperro. South West Coast walkers will get to cool their toes in the waters at Atlantic Bay, but for bus riders, we'll fly past at a decent lick. But there's always another tourist car that doesn't quite know the score on the roads. Mind you, the local postie has no problem weaving past our bus. Lansalos proves to be another tricky little village to negotiate. But eventually the Sprinter gets us into Crumpelhorn, and we are all deposited by the roadside, and it carries on its way to Looe. And so here we are, Polperro Crumpelhorn. So all the buses, and there's a car park up there, everybody parks or gets off the bus and then walks down to the village down that way. So that's what we're going to do. Now the buses along here are obviously so, I was going to say unreliable, but they're very reliable, but they're infrequent. So I've got a good while in Polperro, which is a good idea because actually I haven't stopped for any lunch. So yeah, let's get down to Polperro, have a little look round, and maybe have time for a walk along the southwest coast path. Right, let's do it. Let's get into the town. I think it's safe to say that Polperro is a tourist honeypot. So let's see what we see when we get there. I think the answer is an awful lot of people. To be fair, although it is busy in the village, it's not annoyingly so. It feels like the place is set up to handle the crowds. And yes, we rejoin the coast path here. Now, I've picked up a sandwich at the shop, and I spy a couple having a pint on a nice seat, so I'm going to join them with my drink and sandwich. Well, this is all very lovely, but I've spied a coast path sign, so let's follow it and see where it leads us. As I suspected it would, it's leading us up and out of the village. This is very nice indeed, and I'm really enjoying the exercise. Well, of course, all you have to do if you're in a busy place is walk for 5 or 10 minutes, and then you'll get a nice quiet sit somewhere with all the people still away down there. And they're all having a good time, and I'm having a good time up here by myself, so everything's good. So, I mean, reflection of Southwest Bus, maybe on day 6, is the bus can get you to all sorts of exciting and interesting places, both out of the way places and also the tourist honeypots. And obviously the choice is yours. Me, I like the out of the way place, but you know, places like this, they're very much worth visiting, and you can get here on the bus, as were quite a number of the people who travelled with me today. My next job is to just take a stroll up the hill, and then we'll pick up a following service and carry on our way into Looe.
you.
The buses are actually a bit off schedule as the one parked here has been broken down by the road for some time. Anyway, I think I've climbed aboard a 77 which can get me to the fire station in West Looe. Then I can walk over the bridge into East Looe to continue to Liskeard on another bus or on the train. Soon we're speeding down the Polperro road towards the harbour at Looe, and we get our first sight of Looe's beautiful old bridge. However, this bus will not be crossing it today, as it will head back the way it came up the west bank and taking a different route to Liskeard than the one I intend.
Thank you.
I could, given that it's South West Coast bus, now catch my final bus up to Liskeard, but I've always got the backup that in less than an hour there is of course a train straight back up to Liskeard from Looe, so we'll get that definitely, but if we can get a bus then all the better. So let's go up and see what they've got. Right, need to speed up. That was a 73A going down there. It's just going to turn around and then cross the bridge, so I can pick it up just at the other side of the bridge, hopefully. And off we go on the last bus of the day that will take me back up to Liskeard railway station, where I can pick up my car and then drive home to Devon. Now this route mostly follows the railway line and will soon cross over it at Sand Place. The bus is arguably handier for locals than the train, as it passes through the villages of Doulo and St Keen, whilst the railway passes, well, a little way away from both of them. You know, I shall miss these narrow Cornish roads when we get into Devon in a day or so. And finally we burst out of these side roads and come upon Liskeard Station, my final stop of the day.
Thank you.
Well, I'm here sat quietly on platform 3 at Liskeard Station. As I said earlier, I could have got the train up here, but it's the South West Coast bus, so carried on that. 73A took me all the way here, jumped off just outside the railway station. So that's the end of day 6 of South West Coast bus. So I suppose day 7 needs to start somewhere around Looe, so join me for that. But in the meantime, just like to say thank you very much for watching this edition of South West Coast Bus. And you can join me here for day 7 of South West Coast Bus when, with any luck, I can finally leave Cornwall and re-enter the county of Devon.